Throughout history, China has rivaled and often outshone many of the world's greatest ancient civilizations, but many of its greatest achievements are surprisingly overlooked, especially in the West. While you're already familiar with some of its inventions, like the compass, gunpowder, printing, and plenty of others. But those inventions are only one chapter of the story. The ancient relics you're about to see in this video tell another one that reveals just how far ahead ancient China truly was. From mysterious discs said to protect the dead to surgical tools that eased pain centuries before anesthesia existed, these are 15 ancient Chinese relics that changed history. Number 15. Advanced surgical tools of ancient China according to official historical records. Modern anesthesia was born on October 16, 1846. But if this ancient Chinese discovery is exactly what researchers believe it is, that date may no longer tell the whole story. Inside the tomb of Xia Quan, a Ming dynasty physician who lived from 1348 to 1411, archaeologists recovered a pair of iron scissors and tweezers during excavations in Jiangsu province in 1974. Decades later, advanced testing finally revealed what the eye could not. Using X-ray fluorescence together with Raman spectroscopy, researchers detected traces linked to aconitine, a powerful compound found in Chinese wolfsbane. It's called Aconitum carmicale. It also appears throughout traditional Chinese medical texts as a pain-relieving medicine. But if someone made a small mistake while preparing it, the medicine could become just as deadly as the disease itself. Even so, Chinese physicians continued using it because, when handled correctly, it helped ease pain before an operation. What makes this discovery so great is where the chemical traces were found. Ming medical writings even describe applying numbing medicine before surgery or directly onto surgical blades. If those chemical traces truly came from medical treatment, these humble iron tools preserve proof that Chinese surgeons were easing pain with anesthetic techniques 6 centuries before modern medicine recognized them. Number 14. The mysterious Chinese Jade Bi Discs. The people who came before us didn't see death as the end of life's journey, and nowhere is that belief more visible than in the mysterious Jade Bi Discs of ancient China. More than 7,000 years ago, ancient civilizations such as Hongshan and, later, Liangzhu carefully placed these polished jade rings with their most important dead, positioning them above the head, across the chest, and beneath the feet. The mystery begins with the stone itself. Most of these discs were carved from nephrite jade, which is one of the toughest materials available, even though no metal tools from that period have ever been found. Researchers believe each piece was shaped through endless grinding, sanding, and polishing, demanding extraordinary patience and skill. Many examples carry symbols connected with the heavens, leading some archaeologists to believe they helped guide the soul after death. But others think they protected the body or represented the infinite cycle of life and death. They later became symbols of power and authority. But their real purpose remains one of ancient China's most perplexing mysteries. Number 13. The Star Manual of Master Shiso. Did the ancient Chinese create the first star charts? According to historians, the Star Manual of Master Shi has long been regarded as the earliest surviving Chinese star catalog. It records the positions of 120 stars grouped into the traditional 28 lunar constellations. But its true age has remained debated. Some scholars placed its origins in the 1st century BC, while others believed it was compiled centuries later during the Tang dynasty. Recently, astronomers Bo Lianghe and Yonggang from the Chinese National Astronomical Observatories revisited the puzzle using computer modeling and modern astronomical data. By tracing the slow movement of the stars caused by Earth's 26,000-year precession cycle, they concluded that the original observations may date to around 355 BC. with later revisions added about 125 add. If correct, the catalog would predate Hipparchus by more than 2 centuries. Not everyone accepts that conclusion, however. Some historians argue the results could simply reflect measurement errors. Even so, the Star Manual of Master Shi remains one of ancient China's greatest astronomical mysteries. Number 12. The Dropa Stones, ancient Chinese alien tech. In 1938, a Chinese archaeologist named Chi Te was exploring the caves of the Bayankara Ula region near the Tibetan border with his team. The first thing he found was a series of neatly arranged graves containing mysterious skeletons that stood only about 4 feet tall, each with weirdly large skulls. According to the story, the cave walls were also covered with ancient artwork showing strange beings wearing oversized helmets surrounded by images of the sun, the moon, the stars, and the earth. But that discovery was only the beginning. Deeper inside the cave system, Chi Te found 701 seen circular stone discs, many partly buried beneath the cave floor, each covered with tiny engraved symbols. The discs were later taken to Beijing University, where Professor Tsum Nui said they were over 12,000 years old and eventually translated their inscriptions. His translation described the Dropa, a group of visitors whose spacecraft crashed on Earth, leaving the survivors stranded among local tribes. But despite the incredible story, no verified proof of the stones, the expedition, or even the professor has ever been found, leading most experts to dismiss the entire story as a man-made hoax. So, was it really a hoax? Number 11. Ancient grenades, an explosive Chinese relic. For as long as humans have searched for ways to protect themselves, they have also invented darker and disturbing ways to destroy whoever stood against them. That truth appeared again during excavations near the Great Wall of China, where archaeologists found more than 55 stone grenades inside a Ming Dynasty weapons storehouse. Well, nothing about them looked frightening at first, but each stone carried a round opening made for gunpowder. Once filled and sealed, the grenade could be thrown by hand or launched toward enemy troops, striking with both force and flame. Shang Heng of the Beijing Municipal Institute of Archaeology explained that this was the first weapons warehouse of its kind discovered along the Great Wall, changing what experts believed about its defenses. China had already been using explosive weapons centuries earlier. By the 10th century, armies were firing cast-iron bombs called Zentian Lei, or thunder crash bombs, from catapults. The stone versions were cheaper, easier to make, and still deadly enough to tear through soldiers during battle. It reveals the beauty and brutality of our past. Number 10. The Sanxingdui mythical beast. Like ancient Egypt and Rome, the history of China is filled with strange gods, lost kingdoms, and objects that still leave archaeologists guessing. One of the strangest came from pit number 8 at Sanxingdui, a 3,000-year-old site linked to the ancient kingdom of Shu. The bronze figure shows a horned beast almost 1 meter tall and 1 meter long, making it the largest and most complete creature of its kind found there. Standing on its horn is a smaller man wearing a long robe, positioned as though he is guiding or controlling the animal. A tree carved across the beast's chest may connect it with the sacred tree worship practiced by the Sanxingdui people. Since excavations began, more than 14,000 artifacts have appeared at the site, including gold masks, bronze altars, ivory carvings, silk, carbonized rice, and tree seeds. But no human remains or written records have explained why these objects were placed inside the pits. Was this beast a god, a guardian, or part of a ceremony whose meaning disappeared with the Shu? Number 9. The bronze vessels of Tomb M4. Have you ever seen a bottle shaped like a deer? Archaeologists found 2 of them inside Tomb M4 at the Shigushan Cemetery in Baoji. after the burial was opened in 2013. The grave had been sealed around 3,100 years ago during the violent struggle between the Shang and Zhou dynasties. Alongside a badly decayed skeleton lay several bronze ritual vessels, including a four-handled tureen covered with 192 spikes, dragon and bird patterns, and 24 carved cattle heads. The deer-shaped containers were probably made for wine, while the larger pieces may have carried food during religious or funeral ceremonies. Inscriptions on several objects mention different Shang clans, which suggests they did not originally belong together. Researchers led by Zhangkui Wang believe the collection may have been war loot taken after the Zhou defeated the Shang and later awarded to a winning commander. The body was too damaged to identify, but the richness of the burial points to a chief, a leader, or the spouse of someone equally powerful. Number 8. The ancient Chinese 3D bird figurine. The word 3D usually brings to mind movies, printers, or computer technology. But thousands of years before any of those ideas existed, someone in ancient China carefully carved a tiny bird from a piece of burned bone and created something that still amazes archaeologists today. The miniature sculpture came from the Lingjing site in Henan province and has been dated to between 13,800 and 13,000 years ago. Barely small enough to rest in a person's hand, the carving preserves delicate details that reveal an artist with remarkable skill. Under microscopic examination, researchers identified different carving techniques used on separate parts of the figure, showing it was shaped with careful planning rather than simple cutting. Radiocarbon dating pushed the history of three-dimensional sculpture in East Asia back by more than 8,500 years. Even more unusual, the bird stands on a small pedestal, a feature not seen on any other known Paleolithic animal sculpture. Instead of copying artistic traditions from elsewhere, many researchers believe it represents the beginning of a completely independent artistic tradition in ancient China. Number 7. Ancient Chinese beer. We know that for ancient people, beer was far more than something to enjoy after a long day. In many civilizations, it was part of daily life, religious ceremonies, and important gatherings. China was no exception, but archaeologists eventually uncovered something that completely changed the story. While fermented rice drinks from Henan had already shown that alcohol existed there around 9,000 years ago, a discovery in Shanxi province revealed something even more surprising. Excavations uncovered a complete beer-making workshop dating between 3,400 and 2,900 BC, providing the first direct evidence that beer was actually brewed on-site in ancient China. Residue preserved inside pottery vessels revealed a recipe made from broomcorn millet, Job's tears, lily, and barley. One ingredient immediately caught researchers' attention. Barley was believed to have reached China much later, yet these brewing vessels pushed its arrival back by almost 1,000 years. In fact, the evidence suggests ancient Chinese brewers were using barley to make beer centuries before they ever began growing it as an everyday food crop. Number 6. The ancient Chinese fire starting kit. This ancient Chinese fire drilling tool set is older than the Great Pyramids and even the earliest cities of Mesopotamia, but it survived thousands of years exactly as its owner left it. Unearthed at the Kaoyanggang archaeological site in Jiangsu province, the wooden kit dates back roughly 7,000 years, making it the earliest known physical evidence of fire-making technology ever found in China. The discovery includes a drill stick more than 60 centimeters long and a 30-centimeter fireboard marked by over 10 black circular holes, each left behind after repeated attempts to create fire through friction. A carved groove at one end suggests the board could be carried or hung when not in use. Wooden objects rarely survive for thousands of years, making this discovery especially unusual. The site has already produced more than 3,000 artifacts, together with house foundations, ash pits, pottery, bone tools, and animal remains, revealing a settled community with skilled woodworkers. Even more intriguing, the tool closely matches ancient Chinese legends describing how the first people learned to create fire by drilling wood together. Number 5. The skulls of an unknown human. These two strange-looking skulls were found in 2007 and 2014, and from that day, they left scientists facing one of the biggest puzzles in human evolution. Both came from the Lingjing site in Henan province and date to roughly 105 to 125,000 years ago. At first sight, these skulls appeared surprisingly familiar. They shared several features seen in modern humans, including relatively small brow ridges, rounded cranial vaults, and large brains. But a closer examination told a far more complicated story. Their thick rear skull bones, unusual semicircular ear canals, and broad, low brain cases match traits usually associated with Neanderthals and other archaic humans. Instead of fitting neatly into any known group, the remains seem to combine characteristics from several different human lineages. Some researchers believe they represent a previously unknown branch of humanity, while others argue they may belong to the mysterious Denisovans, whose fossil record is still incredibly limited. But the actual truth is still a mystery. Number 4. The ancient Chinese chariot graveyard. They say when you die, you can't take anything with you, just as you arrived with nothing. But around 2,800 years ago, some of China's most powerful nobles clearly believed otherwise. In Zhaoyang, archaeologists found 30 noble tombs dating to the spring and autumn period between 770 and 476 BC. A short distance away lay an enormous burial pit unlike anything expected. Resting inside were 28 wooden chariots, carefully placed on their sides and tightly packed together as though waiting for their owners once again. Only 5 meters away, another pit held the skeletons of 98 horses. Nearly all had been buried in pairs, matching the 2 horse teams that once pulled these elite vehicles. Their remains showed almost no signs of struggle, suggesting they had been killed before burial as part of a planned ceremony. The site also produced ritual objects and the oldest known bianzhong, a framed set of bronze chime bells. Together, they reveal that power, prestige, and ceremony were believed to continue long after death. Number 3. The oldest leather balls. China might not be the first place that comes to mind when you think about the origins of polo. But a history-changing discovery from the Yanghai Cemetery in Xinjiang has given historians a reason to look again. More than 500 ancient graves have been examined there, and 3 of them contained carefully stitched leather balls dating between 3,200 and 900 years ago, making them the oldest known leather balls ever found in Eurasia. Each was filled with wool and animal hair, while 2 still carried red cross markings across their surface. One burial also included specially tailored riding trousers, red leather boots, and a composite bow, leaving little doubt that the owner spent much of his life on horseback. Researchers believe these objects belong to the period when mounted warfare was spreading across eastern Central Asia. No game can be identified with complete certainty because no matching sticks were buried beside the balls. Well, even so, many historians worldwide believe they could represent the earliest physical evidence of a polo-like sport, centuries before the first recorded polo match in 600 BC. Number 2. The blue monster of ancient China. The people of ancient China filled their tombs with paintings meant to guide the dead, protect the journey into the next world, and preserve memories of life on Earth. But one burial, dating back around 1,400 years, left behind something no archaeologist has been able to explain. In the spring of 2013, researchers examined a looted tomb whose coffins had been smashed and whose human remains had vanished. Even so, the entrance corridor had escaped almost untouched. Its walls still displayed elegant murals of a winged horse, scenes of ascension, hunting, horse trading, and guards standing watch at a gatehouse. Then, high above the vaulted ceiling, they found a strange blue creature unlike anything recorded from other tombs of the same period. Nobody knows what it represents, or even what kind of being it was meant to depict. Nearby appears the Master of Wind, an ancient deity shown almost completely unclothed while rushing toward the burial chamber. Together, these paintings preserve not only everyday life and ancient beliefs, but also one mystery that still refuses to reveal its meaning. Number 1. The bottle of ancient Chinese alcohol well. Most ancient bottles are discovered empty, but one bronze vessel from Tomb M39 at the Sanxingdui Cemetery surprised archaeologists with something unheard of. More than 2,300 years after it was buried, it still contained around 3.7 liters of liquid. The bottle's garlic-shaped mouth had been sealed with cloth on the inside and clay on the outside, protecting its contents through centuries underground. Instead of relying on theories, scientists examined the liquid itself using spectroscopy and mass spectrometry. The chemistry ruled out ordinary water and also pointed away from grape wine. At the bottom of the vessel, more than 100,000 starch grains revealed a recipe built mainly from broomcorn millet, mixed with smaller amounts of wheat or barley. Over 8,500 preserved yeast cells showed the drink had been fermented with ku, the traditional Chinese starter used for brewing grain alcohol. For the first time, researchers weren't studying the container alone, they were looking at the drink prepared by Qin brewers more than 2 millennia ago. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching till the end, and be sure to give it a like and subscribe. Until then, stay curious, and we'll see you soon.